I got the fireplace on the TV, and my loft is full of friends. Please welcome Jessica to the podcast. Woo! We got Grace sitting in the corner too with one of the chairs I got from Facebook Marketplace. Grace, how does the chair feel?
It is quite comfortable.
That's good. $40 for 4. That's a steal. I mean, what can you do? Jessica, welcome to the podcast. How you feeling tonight?
Feeling great. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Jessica is so cute. Look at her outfit. Fit check. And her ring. Oh my gosh. Which we're going to totally get into this because it's so gorgeous. A few updates before we get into everything. Life is still crazy. I am going to do a small merch drop. Yeah, vibes are good. Anyways, getting into Jessica. So I actually started following Maxon on Instagram, and Grace in the corner is their social media manager, and we kind of connected. She's like, hey, you got to get my queen on the podcast. And I'm like, okay, absolutely, for sure. So after learning more about Jessica, I'm like, absolutely, we have to have you on the podcast. Not only are you a queen, but you are, an owner, businesswoman, slay, a wife, a mom, and probably a friend to so many people. So it's cool to dive into hearing, your story and how you got to where you are. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey to Maxon and, really even to Springfield? I don't even know if you're from here. A little bit about that.
Yes, absolutely. So moved here when I was 6 weeks old, and so pretty much born and raised in Springfield. Went to Kickapoo High School. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Went to Missouri State. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
And just had a great kind of weird career path. Worked for my mom's company for many years. She has a great management company, and then had the opportunity to work at a CPA firm for one of my friend's dads. And that's where I really learned to hone in on my accounting skills, which super nerd here.
No, I love it.
That's where I learned a lot. And, after we merged with a different company, had the opportunity to go work at Maxon. I had a friend that worked there, and he said, why don't you come on over and do operations? And 2 weeks later, their in-house accountant said, I'm moving to Colorado.
Wow.
So I got the opportunity to kind of take over that role. And over the next 3 years, really got a deep dive into the business and learn the ins and outs. And then we bought in, my husband and I bought in 2019 and just finished the deal this February.
That is amazing. So what is your official role then as of right now?
Well, right now I'm the window washer, the trash lady,
the trash talker.
Yes, trash talker. No. A little bit of HR, selling, accounting, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So I know, age, but I don't want to be like, how old are you? But also, how old are you?
I'm 36.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay. There we go. I told them, I said, we got sound effects here on the podcast. 36 is amazing for everything you've accomplished. And I know my listeners right now are like, well, I don't even know what she accomplished yet. Like, we're getting to it, but still just absolutely amazing. So
thank you.
When you chose Maxon, at that point in your life, were you really like, wow, was it kind of like, hey, I'm going to try this new opportunity? Or did you really already have a passion about, jewelry and, how that's created in that process?
So I wasn't super into jewelry at the moment, just more of the business side, the entrepreneurship. And we might touch on this later, but it's interesting where life takes you, because I had actually applied for some different jobs at different companies, a nonprofit in town, and was a little bit crushed when I didn't get that job. But I think, God just leads you in the right way.
Yeah. And
really led me to Maxon. And who would have thought that 6-7 years later would have ended up in this position? But I'm very thankful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So would you say as a young kid, you've always had an entrepreneurial type spirit, or did that come on later on?
No, I think it was always there, and especially with my parents. They were both small business owners, and so that's really all we knew. You just really go in and get it done with them on the weekends or whatever is needed, so that was just kind of in my blood.
Let's break down a bit more about Maxon, because there's a great legacy there. Shout out my girl Callie Carroll, wore some of your guys' stuff for her wedding. And if we're looking at this rock, I'm assuming it's from Maxon. She could be like, it's from sales. I'm just kidding. No, you guys have amazing stuff. So if you could just give my listeners a little brief synopsis of, who you are and your legacy.
Absolutely. So Maxon was actually started in 1972 by Joe Maxon himself. I hear a lot of good stories about him. He was quite the character. I think he used to just carry diamonds around in his suit jacket, and he would just pull them out and sell them wherever he was in town. And then in 1994, Rick and Jane McIlvaine moved to Springfield to purchase the store from Joe. And then, fast forward to 2019, we went into that partnership, and another shout out to Callie Carroll and Old Missouri Bank. They actually helped me secure my loan to finish the deal. And I know, Callie's full circle.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so here we are.
I mean, now you're in this position, and I mean, obviously you're a mother as well and a wife. And if you Google Jessica, she's on, I tried to write down like how many different clubs, groups, organizations she's a part of, and my hand was tired. Like after 5, I was like, this hurts me. So, I mean, how do you, even just discuss like how many different, you don't have to go into how many different things you are, but you serve on a lot of things. So you personally, like, how do you even juggle all of that?
Well, that's my passion, is I love giving back to our community. I really get energized whenever we're, serving or attracting talent or retaining talent for our area. That's really passionate for me, whether it's nonprofit boards or the chamber. But yeah, juggling is hard. I have a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old. And so that's been, kind of challenging to start over with a new baby and try to feel like I'm keeping it all together when sometimes we're just not, but we go on with the next day. And I think, as a business owner and a mom, you're trying to just pretend like you have it all together. Like you be a mom, like you don't work, but work like you're not a mom. And so balancing that, we just take it one day at a time. And I have a great husband. He's very supportive and a great hands-on dad. And so he's watching the little boys right now.
That's amazing. Okay. Yes. How to show some love on that one.
That's right.
So there's so much to unpack in like what you just said. So I think the first thing I want to know is, where did that passion come for retaining talent in Springfield? Is that something that because you're from here and went the ground up, or where did that come from?
I think it, being from here, I still have a lot of my girlfriends that I've had from kindergarten on, but I don't necessarily think that we spend that much time together. A lot of my adult friends came from either Rotaract or the network. Because
wow, so many plugs here.
Well, it's so true. Yeah. That's actually how I met my husband, was in Rotaract.
Wow.
And so, I know.
The one group I'm not a part of.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
But no, that's really where I felt plugged in and connected as a young professional, and really was able to grow my network through that. It's just been quite the journey.
Yeah. So what age did you start kind of that networking practices and joining stuff like Rotaract?
It was probably about when I was 24, I would say. I was from here, but walking into those rooms was really intimidating at first. I would, say, I'm just to myself, I'm going to go to the bathroom, waste some time, come back out. Maybe they'll start the meeting and I don't necessarily have to go up to people. It was really intimidating. These people already felt like they had their groups. And so one of my goals was, as I progressed, in that club, was to make sure that each person felt welcome and to make a new friend at every opportunity.
Absolutely. Would you say as your own personality, like, are you naturally more an extroverted person? Or are you more introverted and then extroverted later on, or?
Generally pretty extroverted. I get pretty energized being around people.
Yeah. Same, for sure. Love it. To circle back on what you said a little bit earlier, though, about being a mom and balancing that, all those organizations. Have you had to pull back at all since some of the kids, or?
A little bit. I used to have a hard time saying no. This year, I found myself really being choosy about what I'm going to devote my time to, because I don't have a lot of it, and I have to share it with my children. So there have been a couple times where somebody might have asked if I would join a board or be a chair of a committee, and I've had to, gracefully decline.
Yeah. Power moves only. Power. I'm so bad. I'm like, there's a few things I say yes to. I'm just but it's be like that. And like, just to bounce off that one more time too is, I know from my own mom growing up, like, she worked. So we spent a lot of time at my grandma's house, and then later on she ended up staying home. And sometimes it feels like you can't win in either circles. Like, some moms are like, well, you're a bad mom. Or like, some businesses are like, well, you're falling behind in business. So this pressure of society or people's opinions, like, how do you deal with the noise, I guess?
I just try to do my best in those little moments that I have to myself, whether it be, evenings after the kids go to bed, or on the weekends, just take a little bit of self-care, whether it's going for a walk outside, which I know doesn't seem like much, but that can be everything for a mom, just for 20 minutes alone to just reflect and regroup and focus on what you need to tackle for the week.
100%. And I think they say too, like being in nature, grounding or whatever it may be, just kind of escaping your thoughts, and that looks different for everybody. So is that what you say would be like your go-to self-care act? Or
pretty much. I'm super into grounding right now, by the way. I've been watching a lot of videos about that. So
is there like certain area I like to ground the most? Or like Nathaniel Green has the best ground compared to Sequoia? Or
I do. That is, Nathaniel Green is probably my favorite park in town.
I agree.
We live closer to Sequoia, but really it's just our front yard. If we can take 5-10 minutes, right now it's cold, but every fall evening or summer evening, just trying to get the kids outside and run around barefoot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we're going to dive more into business stuff, but I am kind of quirky. I mean, these ladies already know that. I'm definitely overshared way too much about my life. But what would you say is a fun fact of yours? I mean, my podcast listeners know that I'm so weird. Like, I told them I went to circus camp in middle school, and my mom's always like, stop bringing that up. It's true. I'm still scared of clowns. So what would you say is your fun fact?
Well, I would say, so my husband and I went to Peru for our honeymoon, and I know that's not the conventional place, not laying on the beach. We actually spent quite a bit of time in the Amazon jungle. So
wow. Okay. That's awesome.
Not sure I'm going to go back, but it was an experience, and we bonded quite well over that.
Hey, that's awesome. I saw on Google too that I think, is it one of your goals to climb Mount Kilimanjaro?
Yes.
Are you a big climber, Queen?
Well, ish. I mean, we really got the itch when we hiked Machu Picchu.
Wow.
On our honeymoon and did that 4-day trek and slept in tents and
wow.
Yeah, talk about a honeymoon not being super glamorous. There's no bathrooms and
I mean, everyone's got their thing.
Right.
Everyone's got their thing. My friend Ricky, you would honestly love her though. She is the anti-sex trafficking group and she just climbed Everest. Oh, wow. I'm like, I'm so different. I'm like, well, I just climbed my stairs on my loft.
Did she go with Danielle?
I don't know.
Okay.
She did go with a friend.
That's probably her. Yeah.
Are you friends with her too? Wow. Springfield, everyone's connected. I mean, really it is. And that's one of the best things about Springfield is that you really can reach out to anybody and meet anybody and stuff like that. Okay, so going back to more of the business type conversation, you're so fascinating to me because I'm also very entrepreneurial and I'm not as probably analytical just because I'm not very operations focused, but in terms of being a woman in business, it is difficult. I think it's hard sometimes. I think men and women have their own thing, but a lot of times it's kind of been a man's world in certain areas. And so I think it can be hard to be, I don't know, there's just moments where it's difficult. Sometimes guys take being nice as flirting or, you get paid less or whatever it may be. I think it can be difficult for a woman. So in your experience, what are your thoughts on being a business owner in Springfield? Like, do you feel like other men or businesses, respect and treat you the same, or what has your experience been?
I do think there's a lot of respect in Springfield. I feel like we have a really good seat at the table, and I think sometimes it can be a little bit of a leg up because it's like, oh, business owner and female, so you kind of get a little more opportunities to be on board because they want a different perspective.
Absolutely.
Female plus young professional plus business owner. So
wow,
it's
so
kind of
like triple threat.
Kind of helpful actually. But no, it's everybody in Springfield is really welcoming and we get a lot of access to high-end leadership in town and mentorship that you might not have in larger cities.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm so grateful for the mentors that I do have in my life. And something that we always talk about in businesses, or you look at, statistics on Google, and often women, we're just more emotional sometimes, but not every woman is like that. I mean, there's people that can separate their emotions from business and not take things personally. Every single person is different. But in terms of business for you, how would you say your personality is, and how does that tie in with, tough decisions and not taking things personal and stuff like that?
I mean, at times it can be a little bit emotional. I try to keep that internal when I need to. I can really, if I get fired up, we can get real focused and
pop off.
Yeah, there's a special room where, if we have to have tough conversations at work, we just handle it, we move through it, and we have such a great team that we can have those conversations and move past it and actually progress as a team.
Let's talk a bit more about the Maxon team and your products, because I know a lot of my listeners are in maybe the 18 to 25 category, and they're like, well, I don't know what Maxon is, I don't know what you guys sell.
Yeah.
Can you just walk through the variety of your products?
Sure. We really do have something for everybody. I feel like in the past there's been a stigma that it's too expensive, too high-end for somebody, but we really like to serve all ages, and we really like to have generational clients and generational families. So we can start at whatever price range you have. We specialize in engagement rings. We have a lot of fashion jewelry. Then we move into the larger diamonds that we have access to. We have some great vendor relationships from around the world.
Wow.
A lot of diamond vendors, I mean, they come to us. They'll fly from Israel here with their diamonds and meet with us, and we hand select those. And also, we're the only authorized Rolex dealer in southern Missouri. So
Wow.
if you want to get a Rolex, you either got to go Kansas City, St. Louis, Arkansas, Oklahoma, but we're right here in town. So it really makes us a destination.
Amazing. And obviously you guys have been around for a while now, but how did those relationships, like a vendor in Israel, like how did that happen?
So it really started with Joe Maxon, back in the 70s, and he made some great relationships, and then it just kind of progressed over those years. And a lot of those companies are multi-generational. So you'll have grandparents that used to sell to Joe Maxon, and then the grandkid is now coming to visit me. So it's pretty awesome and pretty special.
That is pretty awesome. And I think, you see some businesses that have been around, Bass Pro, they've been around a long time, or you have new businesses or things that don't make it. And so, as you continue to lead and the company grows and there's, new employees, how do you continue to grow and also, progress, whether it's, social media, whatever it is, but also keep all those original values and that brand voice?
I mean, that's the challenge at any company. I always say we have Midwestern hospitality. So we like for you to come in to our showroom as if it's our living room in our home.
Wow.
So we like to be welcoming, we're kind, we think we're pretty fun. We have a full bar, so if you want to come in and have a cocktail and relax. For us, a really special place and warm and inviting, and I don't want it to be intimidating for anyone. They're there to create those special moments in their life, whether it's marriage, baby, anniversary, birthday, Christmas, you name it, and we want to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I went to your guys' party last year, and definitely, not coming at any other, jewelry place or anything, but there's a lot of corporate chain kind of stuff, and you guys definitely have, a face, a personality, a voice, and a warmth that people really match that to the brand, and so that's pretty awesome. But now to get into a bit more fun topics, so like dating, you mentioned you met your man, were you 24? Is that when you guys met, or?
So we met, 27 or 8.
Okay, so I'm 24, girly pop in the city. It sounds like you were a girly pop in the city. What was your experience with like Springfield men when you were in your 20s? Because
I know, it's hard. It's hard. I know. You just have to hang in there and wait for the right one. I know sometimes there aren't a lot of options. Now, I'm old, as we discussed at the beginning, so I never did online dating. Never even had the app, don't know how to do it. Thankfully, didn't have to. So yeah, I can't really dive into that too much, but I was just in the right place at the right time, and we happened to park next to each other. At a committee meeting for a Rotaract, and he held the door open for me, and then we got to our cars and he said, "Do you want to go to dinner on Saturday?" I said, "Sure," but I was a little hesitant, and this is kind of funny, but he shook my hand, and I like to be a strong, independent woman.
Period.
And I don't like when men give me a weak handshake as if I need a weak handshake. And so he gave me one of those, and I kind of thought, I don't know, is he going to respect me as,
is this the tone for the whole relationship? Yeah.
But I'm thankful I went.
So how did he redeem himself? Was he like a fist pump? Or he's like, I'm never shaking your hand ever again.
We discussed it later, and he apologized.
Love
but no,
handshake.
he's amazing. He's a sweet angel. So
that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So tying into that a little bit in relationships, I know for myself, I'm very self-driven, entrepreneur type. I know what I want. You get hurt once and you just like never let it happen to you again. Like it's just very whatever. And I think some guys, it's interesting. Like some guys, they're very attracted to that, but I think it's also hard because some guys are like, well, we're the same age and she's doing more than me. I can't go for her. Right. And I don't know if it's like the stigma or even Barbie movie, like the vibe of, you want to be a businesswoman, you want to be independent, but then if you're too dependent, then they're not going to go for you. They want a girl that they can take care of, and like you want to be a mom, but you want to do this, and so like in your experience, when it comes to being independent and being a leader and owning a business and being a boss, balance of being independent and going after you want, and then having this, well, you're too independent or you're too driven. What was your experience with anything like that?
I mean, you just have to remember you can do whatever you want to do and don't settle for anything less. I feel like I just got really blessed and lucky to find somebody that, could be my match and also be supportive in what I wanted to do, but help me along the way. It's not always super easy. We try to make it look easy. That's the hardest part. But of course, there's nights you go home and you're crying, you're upset, and somebody that's going to be supportive, lift you up, give you advice, talk it through. I would just say hold out for that because it's worth it.
One thing about me is that I don't play games unless it's ping pong at Classics Yard. Classics Yard is Springfield's #1 social sport and game center. It is located in the back of Classic Rock Coffee Company headquarters and next door to the Riff. Coffee, sports, music, what more could you want? Located at 1900 West Sunset Street in Springfield, Missouri. Be sure to check them out, play some games, and reserve your event today. Visit www.classicsyard.com. You're so right. And I feel like, too, if you're driven, a lot of times other guys who are driven are attracted to that. So it's like a sales qualified lead. It takes a minute to find just the right one.
It does.
So, I don't know. But I just didn't know what your thoughts were on, the independent culture. Because I feel like in girl world, we're like, yes, get it. But then I also think sometimes people are like, well, you're too independent. You're doing too much. But I don't know if that's even...
I think just you got to do what it feels right for you.
So what's your favorite part about owning Maxons?
Ooh, favorite part. Probably just being in those moments that are so special for everyone. Even in a little bit of times of grief, you have a grandmother or mother that passed away. Maybe you bring those pieces of jewelry in, we take the diamonds out or gemstones, remake them into something that you love.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And then you have a piece of them forever that you can wear every day.
That's so amazing. And you guys do a lot of like vintage pieces too, right?
We do. We have lots of estate pieces. So vintage estate and then just estate, which really just means pre-owned. People will come in every day wanting to exchange or sell or trade up for something new. And then that gets to be loved by somebody else.
So on the flip side of that, what is the hardest part of... Maybe it's being the owner of Maxons, or maybe it's any part of any of the roles that you hold?
I would say just trying to keep everything afloat, it's our busy season right now with Christmas, so just trying to keep it all together. We have such a great team, but, we all have different schedules, we have families, and so trying to balance that, making sure everybody feels like they're taken care of. As I hate the word employee or staff, team member,
right?
And just remembering that we're all in it together. We're all here to have fun and sell things and make people happy for Christmas. So whatever we have to do to get it done, that's kind of the hard part right now. We're in the thick of it, so just keeping it all together.
Well, it's pretty awesome. You're talking about business and being really busy, and especially from my marketing perspective and clients I meet, a lot of people are struggling right now. So it's pretty remarkable that this recession, things are slowing down, that you're like, well, we're still booming and we're busy and I'm tired. And like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Special occasions don't stop for anything. So people want to celebrate that. It's important.
Absolutely. So obviously, you're working in the jewelry. Do you ever have a hard time not buying the items that come in? Like, with that owner discount.
Yes.
I used to do that when I worked at certain clothing places. I was like, this is toxic. I buy everything we sell.
I know. It's difficult, especially when we go to market in Las Vegas and it's 7 days of just, every hour we have an appointment and, you pick things out like, ooh, I like this, but also you have to keep in mind, what do all aspects of our clients enjoy?
Yeah.
So trying to select those items, but yes, there are many times where I think, ooh, okay, we're going to pick that up for myself.
That's amazing. So what is your vision for the business for the next 5 years?
Ooh, I would say, obviously we want to grow,
right?
Grow the business, grow the revenue, but also grow our clientele. maybe grow our team a little bit, but not too much. We have a really good core team, so adding just the right people for our culture is really important to me.
Absolutely.
But we can always use people that have some good jewelry experience, which is kind of a niche market, so it's hard to find. So when we do find them, bringing them in and bringing them part of the Maxon team.
Is that typically like word of mouth, or do you find stuff like that on Indeed? I mean,
no, it's generally word of mouth, or folks that move to the area with that experience will specifically reach out.
Wow.
Because of the brands that we carry.
That's amazing. It's a gem of Springfield is really what it is.
That's a good pun.
Better trademark that. So to get a little bit deep with it, I know sometimes, even like with the origin of the podcast, there was a lot of purpose behind it. And so I'd like to ask people that come on, is there something you've ever struggled with that has fueled your passion? Whether that's, this position or what you do every day, or maybe it's how you care about people. But do you have anything like that in your life?
Well, just some funny little moments, I think, that happen. As a female business owner, people don't always assume, and especially being young-ish.
You are young.
kind of young. They just assume that I'm not the owner. And so maybe they talk to one of my coworkers that's a man that's a little bit older, and they'll say, are you the man I need to talk to? Are you the man in charge? And they'll smirk and they'll say, nope.
Yeah.
And so then they'll say, well, who is? And then it'll be me, and they're, oh, okay. So that's kind of a funny little things that kind of fuel the passion for it and being a female leader. But I think at the end of the day, it's just my family, trying to create a legacy for the boys and my husband, just make him proud, and my parents for everything that they've taught me. That's kind of where my passion comes from.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Also noticed as well that you were Springfield Business Journal's most influential woman. Is that 2018? Is that the right year?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's so cool. How was that experience of being chosen?
It was quite an honor. I still to this day don't know who nominated me, but very thankful for that.
Well, I mean, you're on like 15 different boards. I would hope that someone nominated you somewhere.
That is true. That's a strength and a weakness. But yes, as we previously said, I'm working through that. So no, it's very, really my passion, and was just honored, to be chosen as one of those women.
Absolutely. So in terms of, business, is there something that you wish you would have known when you were younger? I look at myself in 24, and I've done a lot of networking stuff, and I see a lot of things that I like to do that I see myself like in aspirations that you like to do. And so someone my age, what's advice you were giving that, hey, this pertains in relationships, and this also pertains to business or anything like that?
I think when I was younger, I thought I had a plan for my whole life. And, looking back now, none of that happened. And I'm so thankful that it didn't.
Had to.
Thank you. But I'm just so happy that it didn't, because it led me here. And you have all of those, trials that you're so upset about, and you didn't get that job, and that relationship didn't work out, but it's all for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think I shouldn't have been so hung up on, okay, well, that's part of the plan, because only God knows the plan. You don't know the plan. So.
Come on, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Shoot, I'm like living in it.
I know.
Just trusting the plan.
It'll work out.
Any advice for someone in the thick of it, is when you're a little lost in the sauce?
Just try to, focus on yourself for those brief moments. It's, just reach out to your friends, your family that you trust, and try to regroup. It can be challenging.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's good. So maybe this is redundant, but what would you say is your deep passion in life? I mean, obviously family or things like that, but you serve on a lot of boards. And I know just the stuff that I serve on, I'm like, I serve on one because I'm like, I really like this one. Yeah. But what would you say you're passionate about in life?
Well, so I was always passionate about giving back, especially to the children in our community. I was pretty blessed to grow up with an amazing family, pretty standard cookie cutter, mom, dad, sibling, 2 kids. But now having kids especially, it's a total mind shift. You see well, one of my favorites that I'm on is Care to Learn. So health, hunger, hygiene. So you see these kids that come to school with dirty clothes. They don't have food. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
My son, he's 3, and he likes to pretend that he's working on the computer at home because that's what he sees dad doing
Future
sometimes.
entrepreneurs.
And so, he was asking, well, why do we work? I said, well, we have to make money to pay for our house and clothes and food and toys. And he said, well, doesn't everybody have that? And I said, no, there's people that don't have toys. And he thought, well, do they not have food either? And I said, no. And he goes, well, we need to help these people. Like, you're right. That's pretty deep for a 3-year-old. So that really just kind of reminded me why I'm on a lot of those boards.
That's amazing. And it's like childlike faith. Kids just get it. They love and they don't ask questions. And we need to be more like them, to be honest. I mean, to bring it like in a local fun question, I mean, I'm in Springfield. I feel like I have all these favorite spots. Is there any spot that you're like, this is my favorite restaurant, or this is my favorite spot in Springfield when I just want to hang or chill or escape?
We do love Nathaniel Green Park.
Okay.
One of my favorites. We had our first date at Kai.
Okay.
That's kind of one of our good spots. Probably the Greenway Trails. We love the Sequoia Trail.
Yeah.
We go there multiple times a week. And have been since we started dating.
So you're like a big nature person.
Yes.
That's awesome. Super cool. And so to dive into, I ping pong. I ping pong in life. I ping pong in conversation. But going back to, working, and you said a 4-month-old, right?
Yes.
So first of all, that's amazing. Wild that you're back at work already.
Well, yes.
So having to go back to work, and obviously you're a business owner, but like this doesn't stop, but when you go back to work, is it so hard being away from your child?
Yes and no. It sounds silly, but work is kind of a break.
Yeah.
Shout out to single moms or stay-at-home moms, because I don't know how you guys do it. And work is my passion and it's my break, but I love going home. And even right now when he wakes up at midnight, 2 a.m, 4 a.m, I really try to soak in the snuggles at that moment, because I know it's not going to last forever. He's only this little once, and I'll catch up on sleep later.
Yeah, I love that. What's your favorite part about being a mom?
Just when they just look at you, just pure joy. They just think you are the most amazing person in the whole world, and there's nothing better than that.
Thing that I put in here, what is something people don't know about Maxon?
Oh, something they don't know. Well, we have a jeweler that's been there for over 30 years. I don't know if,
that's impressive, for sure.
Hopefully people know that. Maybe they don't. A lot of people ask if we do repair work. Absolutely.
Wow, okay.
We do appraisals, repair work. We'd be shocked at how many people call and say, do you do repairs? Absolutely. We got an in-house jeweler on site. Items don't leave the store.
That's amazing. As we are coming to a close, there's so many awesome things about you. You're very plugged in, you're doing business. I guess ongoing with business, especially someone that wants to be like you and maybe start their own business in their 30s, or they're starting whatever it may be, what are the pieces of advice you'd say, hey, this is going to help you be successful? Maybe it's like get certifications, watch YouTube videos, in terms of that type of topic, what's your advice on that?
I would definitely say find some good mentors. That's been really handy. I've been lucky that through the chamber and through the network, we've been paired with business leaders. We call them experienced leaders, not old leaders, experienced professionals. But yeah, that's been really helpful and really important. You can bounce ideas off of them. They can especially help you with connections, and it's invaluable.
Yeah. So even as a woman, in terms of whether it's harassment or you're trying to grow in a company, but maybe, someone's halting it because maybe you feel uncomfortable, whatever it may be, do you have any advice for, obviously Springfield, you said you have that respect and things like that, but maybe in a different city, someone's not getting that respect. What's your advice to someone that is struggling to get a seat at that table?
I say you just have to, it's hard. You have to stick up for yourself. I've just been so blessed that I haven't thankfully had to deal with a lot of that, but being true to yourself, being honest at the end of the day is always going to pay off. What's really happening, and just explore your options. Look, look for opportunities. It's really about those personal connections. Fortunately and unfortunately, a lot of jobs in Springfield aren't posted. So it's really hard for us to attract people that are from outside of the city, because maybe they don't know that those jobs are available. But if you are here, or whatever city you're in, you are plugged in, reach out to folks and hopefully find that personal connection, and it'll work out in the end.
Yeah, that's a great point of view. I know my first job out of college, I just met my boss while waitressing. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity that you're so right is just from connections and things like that. Is there any like books or anything you recommend where you're like, oh, this was...
Nope.
Not really a reader. She's like, nope, podcast blooper. This one, keeping up with cash.
Right now, being a mom, don't have time to read a lot of books.
That's awesome. Well, as we're coming to a close, thank you so much, Jessica, for coming on the podcast. I want to end my podcast, as you guys know, favorite song, favorite quote, and what do you want your legacy to be? You know, when you're gone someday, what do people remember you as?
All right, favorite song. I'm an early 90s, growing up girl.
Yeah, we love the 99, I mean.
Yeah, well, I was born in 87, but you can't be doing the dances, in your basement when you're in second grade with your friends to Spice Girls, Wannabe, or anything Backstreet Boys.
Oh my gosh, love it, love it. I dance in my loft to Slim Shady. So.
Right, there you go.
I mean, it's so good. Favorite quote?
Favorite quote. So my grandpa and my dad always ingrained this in, even when I was in kindergarten, probably. Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. So try to live my life by that.
That is a tongue twister.
It is.
Proper prior planning
prevents poor performance.
That's good. That's good.
If you can just apply that to everything you do, you're going to be set.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then we head into the legacy question.
Legacy. I would say, at the end of the day, I just want to be remembered as being kind and honest.
Yeah.
I don't think you can beat that.
That's right. Just being kind and honest. That's how people, at the end of the day, we need to love each other as humans and be kind and honest. So, nail on the head. Yep. Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for coming on the podcast. You guys are so fun. You have to check out Maxon Jewelers. The store is so fun. Obviously, they want to hang. Follow their social media. And as you guys know, follow me on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Do all the things. Christmas is coming up. Book your flights, be safe, and I don't know, keep on keeping up with cash. Okay, love you. Bye.